Vijay Mallya, as Purnima was pointing out, put out a statement, and this is very interesting, keeping today's hearing in mind. He has said that legal proceedings apart, I have been making efforts to reach a one-time settlement with the banks, and to that end, I have had 3 meetings and follow-up calls in the recent past, and my efforts will continue. This settlement would be based on additional payments to the bank. Personally, I'm not a borrower or a judgment defaulter. So this has come just a day before DRT is taking a call on what to do with the $75 million that Diageo is paying to Vijay Mallya. SBI is claiming that the $75 million should be given to the lenders. We need to wait and watch out for what DRT says. But at this point in time, Vijay Mallya's statement comes as quite interesting, given the fact that we hadn't known yet that there was a discussion and that there could be a one-time settlement. In fact, let's get some expert opinion going as well. We have J.N. Gupta, the former executive director at SEBI and the founder of Stakeholders Empowerment Services. Sir, you've been following this case for a very long time now. So Enforcement Directorate is questioning him. The DRT is coming up with one of the judgments today, and possibly the Karnataka High Court will also be looking into this in the next couple of days. How do things stand for Vijay Mallya as you see it at this point in time?
See, as you see, things stand pretty bad for Mr. Mallya for a couple of reasons. That it is raining problem for him. For last so many years, nothing was happening. Suddenly, it appears that he is being attacked from all sides. Now, his statement that I am going to settle and something is a welcome statement as far as banks are concerned, provided he has sincerity and he really wants to settle. But then if you see the statement that is made by his lawyer in the DRT, on 2 counts it is laughable. One was that he said that Mr. Mallya has defaulted only for 7,000 crore and there are many more defaulters who are defaulting more than 40,000 crore something, and they had named Reliance also. I don't know on what basis he named Reliance. It is for the Reliance to see what is to be done with that. But that raises a very big question. Is 7,000 rupees just peanuts or something very small amount? Or is it a case that since I have done only 2 murders and somebody has done 10 murders, so first catch the person who has done 10 murders? But the second issue is this. He said that it is demeaning for the Raj Sabha if he is arrested. I do not want Mr. Mallya to be arrested, but this statement itself is laughable because even the Raj Sabha rule says that any member of Raj Sabha can be arrested for any criminal act done outside the presence of Parliament. Secondly, arrest can be made anywhere but not in the premises of Raj Sabha. So these 2 statements make me feel that there is no sincerity in the argument that is being put on behalf of Mr. Mallya in DRT. Anybody who is sitting as a judge in the DRT, if he listens to these 2 arguments, would be surprised at this argument. So my point is this, there is no sincerity and everything is going and taking a chance. The second thing is this, that ED was aware, everybody was aware. I would say very simply, if you look at the balance sheets, annual report of 2012, 13 and other years, they have very clearly mentioned that they have defaulted on the payment of statutory liabilities which are not disputed, like service tax, TDS and something, and no action has been taken. And my issue is one more thing, that all the investing public, even the banks, trust the boards of the company, and when they find that on the board there are very prominent people on the board, they feel some sort of a confidence that this board will be taking a proper action, proper role they will be playing. But unfortunately, none of them have been playing. If you look at the board, there were very prominent people on the board of Kingfisher, and they have failed the investor as well as the banks and maybe the system.
Okay, Mr. Gupta, just hang in there with us. We'll have to take a short commercial break, but we'll just come back and we'll get you some more details about the Enforcement Directorate's investigation, the case that has been registered, and follow-ups to that after the break. Stay tuned. Out the line of questioning at this point in time. What are the immediate issues that need to be taken up for protecting shareholders and lenders' interests right now?
See, first of all, what Ashish was saying, it is only a hearsay. There is no confirmation what is going to happen. So we can only do a conjecture and we should not do our own analysis what will happen.
No, fair enough.
But I would say that to protect the shareholders' interest, the application that has been filed by SBI in DRT and Karnataka High Court is on the right line. Because the first thing that one has to do is to ensure that there is no further transactions or all the assets that are identified are in the process of being attached. That is one. The other issue that I was hearing, Ashish, that SBI has refused to file case to CBI. Now, Ashish was mentioning that under Prevention of Corruption Act. Now, SBI obviously cannot file a case in CBI under Prevention of Corruption Act unless SBI feels that some of its officials were involved in the corrupt activities, which in my opinion is not the case as far as SBI management thinks, and I also feel. If it is a case of corruption, then somebody has to institute an inquiry and find out whether there was a corruption, which CBI can do it. SBI management cannot charge itself that we were corrupt. That is one issue. The second issue is that in DRT, the application is there, and people have been wondering whether the 75 million can be attached, and Mr. Mallya has made a statement, look, it is part of my settlement for non-compete. Money is fungible. Whether you have got money from competition, non-competition, it is immaterial. Second thing is that the DRT Act itself permits attaching of any money which is payable to the person, and even it can attach the money in the hands of the person who is to pay.
Right.
So if DRT passes an order, then the notice can be served on DRGO and USL that all money that is payable to Mr. Mallya should be paid to SBI or other lender banks.
Mr. Mallya, Mr. Gupta, since we are waiting for Mr. Mallya.
Please, I don't want to be Mr. Mallya.
No, fair enough, sir. Mr. Gupta, you're going to be with us once the DRT comes out with its verdict. But I want to understand from you, what do you make of the one-time settlement, sir? Because the one-time settlement statement has come in a night before DRT's verdict. Whatever DRT announces or whatever it comes out with in terms of if it's pro or against Vijay Mallya, what do you make of that one-time settlement? If there is a one-time settlement made which banks accept, what happens to all these investigations?
No, let us go one by one. First of all, one-time settlement offer of one-time settlement statement that has come from Mr. Mallya, it could be genuine or it could be a tactic to stall the thing. I do not know, so I would not know. Second thing is this, even if there is one-time settlement between the banks and the Mr. Mallya, if there has been any criminal act associated now with the CBI and ED investigating, and if they come across any settlement, any criminal act on part of either party or any party, it will not impact one-time settlement, or one-time settlement will not impact that. Those two are parallel things. Criminal proceedings will continue and financial settlement can happen. That's a different thing.
Mr. Gupta, we already know that Vijay Mallya's assets are being scrutinized. His bungalow in Mumbai has been seized already by the banks. There is a villa in Goa which is under question as well. Do you believe that that it would be the right of the lenders to take over various real estate assets and thereby look at other assets that Vijay Mallya has in India overseas? Would it be, according to you, given that you've been looking into this case and many others similar to this one, do you think that it would be the right of the banks to take over?
See, it all depends what were the documents that were executed by Mr. Mallya with banks or the consortium banks. If it is a personal guarantee, and the personal guarantee that has been given by Mr. Mallya does not exclude any specific asset, in that case, all properties of a person who has been a guarantor in case of his failure can be attached. A property which belongs to him or other, unless it has been shown that to avoid this, he has purposefully transferred some property to other name, maybe in family member's name or in some other name, then even that property can be attached by procedure. But it is a very, very long procedure. And especially in India, the problem is that we take ages to come to a solution. By the time, even if the banks take over the assets lose the value in time. And secondly, a distress sale does not get you the right price.
No, I understand that. A broader question before we let you go, Mr. Gupta. Do you believe that this is action delayed by the investigative agencies? And, Mr. Mallya's statement has kind of said that I'm the only one that's being targeted, other individuals and organizations are not being looked into. Do you believe that over and above Vijay Mallya, there could be other people also that need to be scrutinized in this investigation?
See, I personally believe, as a common man, as a man who has put money in the banks, and for the all people, anybody who is defaulted and that will willfully defaulted should be proceeded against. So I do not hold any animosity towards Mr. Mallya or any friendship towards Mr. Mallya, but I say, as a common man, as a bank depositor, I want banks to act against all defaulters regardless of who are they. That is one. Secondly, when Mr. Mallya is making a statement, it is really coming out because of his flamboyant lifestyle. Anybody who has defaulted the banks would not be splurging 100 crore on a birthday party or all that thing. So if at all he feels that he is being targeted, he himself is to be blamed, no one else. That is one. Thirdly, I would say it may appear that the action is delayed, but any organization like banks, which are very important players in the commercial system and economic ecosystem, they cannot act like a bull in a china shop and start acting without anything. It could be said that they could have acted 6 months earlier or 1 month earlier, 1 year earlier, but it cannot be said that they can act very next day, because the whole ecosystem will be spoiled and people will lose faith in the banking system. So nothing which can be done, it should be done in a knee-jerk reaction.
All right, Mr. Gupta. Well, the Vijay Mallya verdict at the Debt Recovery Tribunal is our top focus. Mr. Gupta, thanks for the moment. We'll have you back as and when the DRT announces its judgment. But we will get you all the details in the next 30 minutes roughly.